Hi, good morning. Happy Tuesday to you all. Happy day 7. Let me get this light, adjusted a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see okay. I will be going through a mix and match meal. So I will be actually putting together components that I've prepared over the last few days, some of which I've made with you guys. The quinoa, the chickpeas that we did in the pressure cooker yesterday, both of those are in the pressure cooker. And then we're going to put that together, and I might even show you a really quick way to do like a steamed spinach that will be the base of the meal. One of my favorite things to do. Okay, so as you guys are jumping on, or if you're watching this later, I would love to just hear in the comments how it's going for you. If there's any questions you have, of course, put them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them either now or on this live or at the end when I can look at the comments later, because I know we've been having some issues with me not seeing the comments show up as we're doing the live. So I can't believe we're through first week already. So at the end of today, I'm going to be drawing or tomorrow morning, I'm not really sure, once I kind of see all the day 7s roll in, the post, I'll be picking the first week winner tomorrow morning, and I'll be sharing that with you all on the Facebook Live that we do at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we're getting down to the final week. I have some things planned. We're going to flesh out the rest of the things that we've kind of outlined on the Streamlined Nutrition 101. But if you have anything that you're like dying to really see me do in the kitchen, you want to see me talk about or hear me talk about, please put that in the comments or let me know in one of your posts what you want to focus on for any of this, the Facebook Lives that we have remaining. We've got tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then next Monday and Tuesday. So we've got 5 more. All right, we're going to jump into it. I'm going to pull my hair up so we don't have any hair getting in the food. Food safety, right? And we're going to get started. I'm going to wash my hands. Oh my gosh. So today, maybe some of you moms can relate, but Ollie's 3.5, a little over 3.5. And 3s have been the hardest for me. I don't know if any mother moms can relate, but man, 3 has been tough. And we had a really challenging morning. So I feel like I'm still sort of processing that and just kind of, like those mornings you have as a mom where you're like, oh, I wish I had done this better, or why is it so hard? But if you guys have any tips of moms that have had 3-year-olds or do have 3-year-olds right now, send them my way. Okay, so let's talk about what we've got here. Let's see if I can angle this a little better. Don't want to finish. All right, here you go. Get this on the end here. So we got the quinoa from yesterday. So we soaked it together. And now we're going to use it. We pressure cooked it together. Now we're going to use the quinoa's one element. So this is one of the recipes, the mix and match meal ideas from the Streamlined Nutrition. This is the chickpeas. I'm going to grab a strainer because we're going to need to strain that. I saved them in their own juices to preserve them. They actually, so they don't look very pretty. It looks pretty gross. Hey Becky, I saw you jumped on. So we're going to strain those off. I'll do that now, and we're gonna add beets. I love these. You can do beets really quickly in the pressure cooker, but I already had these on hand from Costco, and they're great. They're already ready to go. They've already been, they're whole beets that have been, I think boiled or roasted. I'm not sure. But yeah, you can also do beets in the pressure cooker really quickly. And I already roasted some walnuts, so about half a cup of walnut pieces. That'll go in the salad. And I call it a salad. It's gonna be like a grain salad. And then I'm not going to add this because Fernando and Oli aren't fans of goat cheese, but this is something you can add to the top. And then we'll do a dressing over everything. If you love goat cheese and your whole family loves it, then just go for it and throw it in there to mix it up. Okay, I'm going to get a measuring cup. So all of this is pretty estimated. There's not any, you can just kind of eyeball it. You don't have to measure things. I'm just going to use this 1 cup measure to scoop out the chickpeas from this juice and put that in the strainer. So I'm going to do 2 cups of chickpeas. I'm going to make more than just for my lunch today. I'm going to make some extra. I might even do, just looking at how much quinoa I have, I'm going to do 3 cups actually. So I'm going to do 3 cups. But you can just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be super precise. And we're done with the chickpeas. We're going to put those in the fridge. And no need to rinse these off. I'm just straining off the liquid, and then I'm going to put them in the bowl for mixing up the salad. It had a little bit of oil. When I pressure cooked it, if you'd watched yesterday, I put oil with the chickpeas, and that was to keep it from foaming too much. When you do pressure cooking, you want to make sure it doesn't foam up excessively and potentially clog those valves that are super important for safety. So that's why it has a little bit of oil on it. And it I think it helps keep them from sort of it kind of keeps them intact a little better when they're in the fridge. All right, so next up we're going to use quinoa. We also did in the pressure cooker. And I'm going to do I'm just probably put the whole thing in there. I just want to see how much it is. It's about 3 cups, I am guessing. Yeah, just shy of 3 cups. So all of that's going to go in there. And you can do a little more quinoa or more chickpeas, but the proportions are about 1 to 1. For a little more protein, I would even increase it and do more chickpeas than quinoa. Quinoa does have complete protein. It is the only grain that has a complete protein in it, but it's still predominantly, which means it has all the essential amino acids, but it's still, we have to keep in mind, it's still predominantly a carbohydrate. The largest percentage out of the macronutrients of carbohydrates, proteins, and fat in quinoa is carbohydrate. Okay, so it's going to be more of a high carbohydrate meal. So if you need more protein, which I tend to, I would either have this with some lean protein, like some meat with it, or add a hard-boiled egg or 2 to the top of it. So again, these are the beets I got from Costco that are ready to go. So we're just going to open this up. And you know what? I actually grabbed this strainer again because it has some of the juices with it in this bag. So just to keep it from getting too messy, I'm going to just throw these in the strainer. There we go. We're not going to use all of the beets. I'm going to save some for a smoothie. I'm going to give those a little rinse. And these have the skins on them. And that's the same thing you do when you have when you pressure cook them, or they're saying you can also pressure cook them. Some of them have kind of disintegrated, kind of come off already, but you can kind of take off that top part where the stem, and just, now that they're nice and soft, you can just kind of rub that off with your hands. Gets your hands kind of dirty, but that part is not so yummy. I mean, it's fine, you could eat it, but so I'm just going to take that off of all of these, and then we'll probably take 2 whole beets and use that in the salad. So again, you know, all of this is approximate. You can make it, you can adjust the proportions however suits your family. One thing nice about these beets is that they don't make your hands as stained as when you do them yourself. Beet juice can really stain things up. Okay, so I'm just going to put these aside for later. I'm going to use those for something else. Put them in the fridge. And we got 2 beets here that we're going to go into the salad. So you can chop them up however you want. I usually generally kind of cut them in quarters and then cut them again. Just make them into pieces. You want them to be bite-sized. Actually, I'm going to make them a little bit smaller. I lied. Sorry. JK. So, Becky, I don't know if you're still on there, or Juanita, I think that you were on there too. I was saying while I was kind of doing the prep before anyone jumped on just how challenging Oli was this morning. Man, 3s have been the toughest for me. 3-year-old age. Lots of challenging, lots of testing their scope of power. He does not like to wear coats to school, even though it's really cold out. And today we had to ride the bike to school instead of taking a stroller because our Bob stroller tire is flat. And I need to take it to the bike store to get fixed, but he was not happy about having to put on an extra layer. Okay, can you guys see that? So the beets go in there. You could put more in if you like. Oldie loves beets, so sometimes I'll give him a little extra. And then the walnuts I toasted about, and again, set the timer when you're toasting your nuts, otherwise they can burn really easily. This is about a ½ cup of walnuts. And we got the goat cheese. Like I said, I'm going to keep that separate since our family's not a huge fan of goat cheese, except for me. Alright, so I got my dressing stuff. We're going to add olive oil. And again, you can measure this out, but I am partial to just eyeballing. So one thing you can do too, I recommend if you're making your own salad, to use the cap. This olive oil that's really big, it kind of comes out quickly. So each of these caps is a little over a teaspoon. So I'm going to do probably like 4 of these, or 5 even. So about a tablespoon or so. Yeah, probably about 2 tablespoons if you're measuring it out. I think, Becky, you had mentioned too that you like to follow recipes to a T the first time. I do as well. This recipe I have to give credit to from my brother, Carl, and he's even more. He actually makes like a dressing with garlic in it and all that stuff, and I'm just gonna eyeball this. Okay, so I would say about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then we're gonna do balsamic vinegar. And I love this balsamic vinegar. Again, sorry, it's from Costco, but any you want to. Specifically, I recommend getting one that's more of a reduction, a balsamic reduction that's a little bit sweeter, on the sweeter side. So again, I'm going to use the cap here because it can come out really quickly. And you don't want to do 1-to-1 ratio. You want to do a little bit less balsamic than olive oil in your dressings. Almost a 2-to-1 olive oil to vinegar. So we'll do one more. And then, of course, can taste it, do taste testing. And we're going to do salt and then fresh ground pepper. And like I said, you could do your own separate dressing and let it kind of sit and absorb flavors. If you use garlic, you could use garlic powder, fresh garlic, if you like that. You could get creative. You could do maybe a little bit of rosemary or something in the dressing and let the dressing sort of sit and mellow and before you put it on. But I'm just want to show you real quick. And I actually like this after it's sat. You know, kind of, it's one of those things where it's even better the next day, where everything sort of blends and absorbs. So that's all mixed up. I'm going to let that sit. And I'm going to show you really quickly 2 ways that in the mix and match on the Streamline Nutrition, I recommended having this with sauteed onion and greens like kale. So I'm going to show you that way, as well as a really like a cheater's version of getting your greens in with this salad, because I love to get my veggies in, my greens in. So if I would have this for lunch and I was in a hurry, I didn't have time to cook up greens and onions right then, or I didn't have any leftovers from the night before, I would do spinach. And I'll show you real quick. I'm going to put it on a bed. I'm going to chop up some spinach. Get this stuff out of the way. I needed a kitchen assistant, right? Okay, let me get a plate. Baby spinach here, and if you want, you could just even take a couple handfuls and put them on the plate. I like to chop mine up a little bit first, so I usually will do about 2 handfuls, and I'll pick through it and make sure there's not any of that wilted, gross lettuce stuff going on. I know it always seems to happen, right? There's those pieces that just get mushy and not so nice, like that one. Okay, so make sure you get those out. They're not really bad, it's just kind of decomposing. And then I just kind of slice through them really quickly, just to break them down a little bit so that it will be easier to take bites. They're just kind of broken down a little bit, easier to mix in with the salad. So of course this dish, this mix and match meal, already has the beets in it, which are a vegetable, but it's that clean carbs. It's got a lot of clean carbs in it and not a lot of protein. The spinach will give a little bit of protein, but mostly that low carb veggie. And it's just a really great way to get in more nutrition for the meal. So I always love to add greens whenever I can. So I'm just gonna put this on the plate, and I'm gonna stick this in the microwave for just like 20 seconds, wilt it down a little bit. You could cover it with a bowl, or you could put a little olive oil in it, or a little sprinkle of water, but honestly, this lady, I'm lazy. And I just stick it in the microwave. So we're gonna stick that bad boy in the microwave, and just, whoa, it's late. We're gonna stick that in the microwave for a few seconds, and then add the salad on top of it. So it'll be a nice little bed of wilted greens, and then we'll add the quinoa, chickpea, beet salad on top of it. And then I would, if I was having this for lunch, I would add a hard-boiled egg sliced up on top, just to give it a little bit more protein, maybe even 2. So again, for me, some people would be fine with just getting the protein from the chickpeas and the quinoa and a little bit from the nuts and the spinach. But again, find what works for you, and if you are okay with that, awesome, go for it. If you feel like you need a little bit more, play around with it. Add that egg, maybe get some turkey or something on the side, some chicken, some rotisserie chicken would be really good with it too. Okay, so that was about 30 seconds, and you know, that plate was pretty much full, and now it's wilted down, and then we're gonna, so you can kind of, it's a little hot, so it even keeps cooking a little bit. And then I would just add, I'm going to kind of just show you, I'm going to plate it up. I'm not going to eat it right now, but this will be my lunch for later. And I'm going to show you how I'll plate it up. Actually, I lied. JK, another lie. Like I said, my brain's a little off today. I've been really distracted by Oli today. We're going to go, and I'm going to show you really quickly, because we've got some time. Keep the questions coming if you have them. I'm going to talk to you while I do the onion slicing. Slice and dice. Does that work? You see me? So I'm going to talk to you about satisfaction score. And I'll be sharing some, like I did yesterday. If you didn't see it, we talked about smart snacking while I was on the live, while the things were cooking in the pressure cooker. And I included a document on the group page. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, go under files and you should be able to find it there. It's a document that you can pull up, and that goes over all the sort of the 3 aspects of a smart snack, and then some recommendations, some tips, or not tips, but some ideas for smart snacks. So you can go check that out. And now I'm going to make some greens really quickly. And while I talk to you, stove going, use my favorite pan, one of my favorite wedding gifts, my Le Creuset pan, and get that warming up while I chop up this little onion. So this is just enough greens basically for me. And I have some kale that I need to use up for my mom from her garden. And so we got those chopped up, and we'll do the kale. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit now about satisfaction score. And again, like I said yesterday, I shared the document with you. I'm going to share a document later on when I finish the live with some more information about satisfaction score. For me, I like to really take off this rib of the kale, the really foresty part. It's a little bit rough for me. That's a lot of insoluble fiber right there, folks. So I'm just going to take that out, pull the leaves off. This is just classic kale. You can get, I think it's called Tuscan kale in Argentina, or what is it? There's different names. That's not as curly. This is the curly kale. I like the other kinds too, but with those as well, I like to just take that rib out the middle. Okay, this should be warm. I'm gonna be over here for a second. I'm gonna get some coconut oil. So get that in the pan. And we'll saute the onion in that. It's hard to talk about satisfaction score when I'm doing anything, so I do about a couple teaspoons of coconut oil in there. I like to use a good bit for those hardy greens like kale. Helps soften them down and just gives a really nice, draws out the flavor of the greens, and just makes it, I think, taste a little better. Okay, let that heat up. Melt. So again, I tend to do a big batch of greens with onion and garlic in it. But today I'm just doing kind of a one serving quickly. So I'll saute this while I finish chopping up the kale. And I like to saute my onions on low, medium low, so they don't get too burned. And just get them nice and soft and stir those every minute or so. Come back here and we're going to finish up the kale. Take out any parts that have maybe turned bad. So satisfaction score, I want to talk about that. You might see, if you follow me on social media, I like to say satisfaction score 10 on a meal that I really love. And that's usually what I'm going for, is to try and boost the satisfaction score of a meal to be something where it's close to a 10, and 10 being where it's super satisfying, not only for my belly, but also for my soul. So there's two elements to the satisfaction score, and that is soul satisfying, which includes some of those satisfaction boosters that we talked about from the grocery list, and stomach satisfying. So stomach satisfying is more focused on the nutrition and having all of the kind of the right macronutrient balance for you. You feel like your belly's satisfied, you're not hungry anymore. But maybe it's not super exciting. It's something like chicken breasts and broccoli and quinoa. While that's very stomach satisfying, you're going to feel full, you're going to get the nutrition that you need. It's going to give you clean carbs, clean proteins, and some low-carb veggies. You're not going to necessarily feel super jazzed about that, right? Like, woo, I can't wait to go eat my chicken breast and broccoli and quinoa that are maybe without anything added to it. Let me saute this really quick. So that's where soul satisfying comes in. Soul satisfaction. And those satisfaction boosters. So soul satisfying means something that's going to jazz up the meal, that's going to make you be like, yes, I can't wait to eat this. This just makes it taste so much more yummy. It's something that you use strategically, so it's like a little goes a long way kind of thing, where you add a little bacon to your greens maybe. Like if I had some bacon, that would be really good with the onion and kale. Or maybe adding some avocado or ranch dressing to your salad because you love creaminess. Or maybe it's adding something to the end of your meal, like some pieces of dark chocolate. Or you could add, I love tahini. I love putting tahini on my salads, and that again gives it that creaminess without totally breaking the bank. You know, using a tablespoon of that makes me enjoy that salad so much more. Putting an egg yolk on my salad, and you know, some people just want to eat egg whites, but actually adding some of those yolks and getting the healthy fats and the creaminess and the flavor from that. So think of them as things that are going to just make you really enjoy the meal. They can be food, and they can also be experiences. So right, like making the plate just look super pretty, and setting the table, and having it be a whole experience with candles. And my friend Alice, who was in the challenge from New York, she does this so well. She really gets like a coordinated tablecloth and table place, all this beautiful stuff, and gets decorations, and it just looks gorgeous. Or sharing the meal with a friend would also boost the soul satisfaction. Or a family member, somebody that you love, sharing that meal. Where can I put this phone? To show you guys. Can be a really good way to boost the satisfaction score, the soul score of a meal. Alright, sorry, I'm trying to do some coordination here. Got a crowded kitchen. I'm going to take you with me, but it might be a little tricky. There, can you see? Perfect. Alright. So So these are nice and soft. I'm going to grab some garlic. And you could do without garlic if you wanted to save time. That's totally fine. I'm going to add the garlic because I love it. And I'll be right back. And you got to do, yeah, so think of soul satisfying. Soul satisfying as adding those things that just you love and not like feeling like you have to deprive yourself. So including them just because you really love the taste of them, kind of where you can be a little more laid back. And that is going to be something that's going to help buffer your willpower. So say you have that really healthy meal with the chicken breast, broccoli, quinoa. Yeah, super high points for health and nutrition and getting high fiber, lean protein, some healthy fats in there, not many. But you can increase the satisfaction of that and make yourself feel like you can not want to just go raid the pantry afterwards, because you maybe add some olive oil or a little bit of cheese to that broccoli. If you can tolerate dairy, so you add some cheese maybe to the broccoli. Maybe you put something on your chicken breast if you really like a little bit of barbecue sauce. Go crazy, whatever you like. Or you could put on the quinoa, maybe some pesto, like a tablespoon of pesto, and make that a little more exciting. But just those little add-ons that spice things up and make you excited to have your meal. So if you have that kind of meal that's more soul satisfying as well as stomach satisfying, you're more likely to have your willpower intact, and you can not feel like you're going to be going and raiding the pantry for Halloween candy or whatever you guys have on hand. Okay, so that was a little trick for you too. I don't like chopping up garlic. I don't like getting my fingers all smelling like garlic. So I use the garlic press a lot. And you don't even have to peel it. You just put the whole clove of garlic in there, squeeze it into the pan, and you're good to go. Alright, so that's ready. I'm going to add the kale, and this is really quick. It won't take too long. You can also steam kale, but I prefer to saute it, just I like the flavor a little better. Because then you can add in that nice onions and garlic. And just kind of make sure you coat all the kale with that oil and garlic and onion mixture. And then I'll let it sit. You can cover it if you want it to cook a little faster. And I'm going to do a little bit of salt on here while it's cooking. Where is it? Over here. And that's about it, you guys. So just let that cook for a few minutes. I'm going to try to heat up a little bit higher now to get that kale cooked. You can do a few drops of water in here too if you want to lightly add a little steam to the cooking process. I think that's about it though for me on my end. And then at the end you would just add, oops, that light behind me is really strong. You just put that on, if I was doing this instead of my super quick spinach that I did that showed you in the microwave, I would put this on the base of the plate as the foundation of the meal, and then I would add in on top of that the quinoa, chickpea, beet salad. I think I covered everything I wanted to for satisfaction score, so having those two elements of stomach satisfying and soul satisfying, and trying to include a little bit of those satisfaction boosters so that maybe are a little higher in calories, where a little goes a long way, especially if you're having weight loss goals or weight management goals. So, but using them strategically and thinking of them as ways that you can really increase your satisfaction of the meal and really enjoy it and look forward to it and not feel like you're going to be turning to the cupboard or the pantry or the freezer to look for ice cream or whatever your weakness is. So those are really nice ways to boost your satisfaction. One thing that I think Steph posted the other day that she uses are those, she did those cocoa, I think they're orange chocolate truffles that she made. Those would be a really nice one to have at the end of a meal to boost your satisfaction of that meal. So maybe 1 or 2 of those truffles. The energy bites that I made were the other day with the chocolate chips were sweet and like a kind of a dessert for me. So having 1 or 2 of those at the end of the meal is another way. We use dried fruit after dinner, apricots and dates and figs, so we usually have a few pieces of that. as our finisher for the meal. I think, yes, I think that's about it. So I'll post a document about that. It has a little more information for you. And this is, now that it's already cooked, I'm going to show you real quickly how I would, just to finish off, I'll put this on a plate so you can just see the whole thing plated up. And when I finish, I'm going to just check really quickly if there's any questions or comments that I need to address on my computer before I log off. Alright, so spread that on the bottom of the plate. Stove's off. And we're going to grab our salad, our quinoa salad, beet salad. So there's the greens. See how much they cook down? I love that about greens. And then if you want, you can use a measuring cup again and just scoop that in there. So I would do probably about 1.5 cups. See how much. It's helpful to use measuring cups sometimes, you guys, because we definitely underestimate how much we eat. So even that, I would say, would be a starting point for me. I would probably have that, and then if I needed more, I would have maybe another 1/2 cup of the salad, and then I would add the goat cheese to it and just sprinkle about 1 tablespoon of goat cheese on top. So there you go. There's your mix and match meal. And normally I usually have, when I make greens like that, I just had a little bit from my mom. But I'll usually use like a whole bunch of kale and do maybe 2 onions and saute that with some garlic and do it that way, and just save whatever leftovers I have so I can do a mix and match meal really quickly without having to saute it. I just wanted to show you how I did my process of that today, but you could definitely also do the quick steam with the spinach and do a super quick way of getting the greens on the base of the salad as well. Let me check my computer really quickly and see if anything came in on the comments. Okay. Alright. Just some hellos. Okay, good. Alright, no questions that I'm seeing, but if you have any, please post them still. I'll come back to them in the comments and check that later. Have a wonderful day, you guys, and again, last day for week 1, I'll be drawing the winner tomorrow, so make sure you come on live for that at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and I'll see you then. Ciao, have a good day.